It's time for the Fort Mill Magazine podcast.
It's October 3rd, 2012. This is Tracy Roman.
And this is Emily Wyatt. How you doing?
I feel tired, as usual. And I feel overwhelmed by stuff that I haven't done that I need to do.
Because you still have school, right?
Yeah, well, this is supposed to be Lewis and I's last semester at Winthrop.
Woo!
In our master's program. And I have a paper that I didn't finish from last semester lingering. Mm-hmm. And this semester is our capstone project, so we have like a huge paper that we're supposed to do the whole semester.
Right.
And then you have like a reader, which is another professor who guides you somehow. And, it's like writing the thesis thing.
Right.
So they call it a capstone.
Right.
And then at the end, we present it to a group. So the whole thing, I was supposed to have been further along in. I mean, we're still pretty early in the semester, but still there was like several things.
Fall break is like next week.
Wow. Tracy doesn't get a break. As you know.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is what I'm doing Monday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's ongoing, and I'm always feeling like I'm behind.
Mm-hmm.
And lately, and I think, ever since the Fashion Week thing, we put so much into that. Preparing.
We haven't had time to recoup.
No, and I hate to keep saying it. I hate to keep telling people we're still recovering from Fashion Week.
Because it was like a week and a half ago.
Like it was the flu.
Yeah, but it kind of was. You got no sleep. We were exhausted.
Yeah.
And it was very fun, don't get us wrong,
right.
but we're not used to that. And
no.
We have a lot of, like both of us in just our personal lives have a lot of things that we need to do that I'm exhausted. I don't know how you even have more stuff to do as far as school goes. I would go crazy. Like, I just want me time.
Yeah.
That's all I want. And I get none of that.
I want a Calgon break.
Yeah.
But we had so many projects that we took on in order to participate in that.
Right.
And then we end up with all these projects after, hence the video, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the follow-up stuff.
Right, which I'm still trying to edit those pictures. Sorry, Steph, it's taking me a while.
Yeah, pictures and planning out, how we're going to implement that until next year's event, really.
Right.
So, yeah, a lot of things. It's always very exciting, to delve into new projects and all the things that come of it. But
it's a lot for two people.
It is when we don't have, like, a staff of assistants and stuff. But we would love to have some interns come and help us out.
Absolutely. God, that would be huge.
Yeah, send us an email.
Seriously. College credit.
We need editing assistants in all areas, really. So, we could use some help. It would be nice. So I feel just a little overwhelmed and trying to figure out how to manage my time a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that...
what helps me kind of get back to, I don't know, what kind of grounds me is ever since Master Jin came on, I've been taking Taekwondo. I took my third class today.
And she's awesome.
I love her.
Yeah.
The people in there are so nice.
So today was your third class. Mm-hmm. So is it getting easier?
Yes. It's definitely, it's not easy by any means. I don't think it'll ever be easy. I get more comfortable in my own skin and, like, I'm not scared to mess up anymore.
Right.
But it's everybody's so nice, but I'm the only white belt. Like, I think the lowest person in there is orange, and that's still, like, at least 2 above me, I think. Mm-hmm. So, it's a little intimidating because you're, like, I don't know anything. And
so
like,
is it like a status thing, you think?
No, they're really nice. Like, they all want to teach me, and they all say I'm doing really well. but I kind of feel bad. Like, I feel like I'm holding the class back because I'm so far behind everyone else.
Right.
But they seem to like going over some of the basics.
Right. Well, I think because it's very rote, isn't it? That they have to keep going over the same
It's
kind
like
of
math.
Yeah.
You have to know the basics to keep going.
So it's probably helpful, even though you feel like you're burdening them. It's probably very helpful to them.
Yeah.
So they're probably not thinking the same thing.
I hope not.
Yeah. But I mean, the alternative would be that you
I'd be
go
in
to
class
the
with
after-school program.
A bunch of kids. Whew.
The 9-year-old class.
Right, and then I would still feel bad
Yeah.
because I have all these little kids doing better than me.
Right. But because you're going during the lunch hour, you're with adults.
Yeah.
Because they're doing the same thing. They're going
It's-
on their lunch break.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And they're super nice,
Yeah.
and she's awesome.
Yeah. Master Jen, she's the bomb.
So that's what
she's-
helps me kind of get my mind straight.
Yeah. Having that outlet.
Kicking and punching air. I was kicking bags today. That was fun. She lets us, she holds things in front of her and we can kick them, and
Right.
that's awesome.
Doesn't it hurt your feet? Mm-mm. No? If you do it right.
Yeah.
Because I guess you could break your foot.
Yeah, I was really messing up my knee today, actually. We were doing a drill and kept twisting it the wrong way.
Right.
So that was...
Well, and then
Interesting.
they turn. It's not like you're just kicking and then walking away. Like you're kicking and then you're turning
Yeah.
to go
Today,
the other direction.
we were doing kicking drills, and we were all in a line, and we were going to kick the bag she was holding or whatever, and she was like, okay, now we're going to do a sliding side kick with a back kick. And I was like, oh, I just learned how to punch yesterday.
Right.
So, yeah, that was interesting.
Well, and you look really cute in the outfit.
Thank you.
The dobok. Which, as far as I've always said, as far as workout gear, that
Yeah.
is like one of the most attractive outfits.
Yeah.
But like you said, they do get
It gets stuck. It's really
Stiff.
a stiff material. I think I
Yeah.
just need to wash it more. But
A lot. Wash
it
a
gets
lot.
stuck on my knees, and I'm all sweaty anyway, so I'm just kind of like, eh. And I
Right.
can't really move. I feel like I'm trapped.
right.
Yoga pants would be much better.
Yeah. I could see that.
But today we have another Jennifer on.
Yeah, we're into the Jens lately.
Yeah.
Jennifer Burnham, who is a professional organizer.
Somebody that could help us all out.
She could whip us into shape. Mm-hmm. So we've scurried around a little bit to straighten up, well, at least my side of the desk. Your side of the desk is usually spot on clean.
I'm also on it less.
Yeah.
I mean, you live
Mine-
here.
Mine piles up. So I cleaned it a little bit because I don't want her to see all my mess.
I'm sure she wasn't offended.
So yeah, that's who we're talking to. But first, let's tell everyone who was kind enough to sponsor this here podcast.
This here podcast is sponsored by Fratelli Restaurant and Pizzeria in Baxter, actually, in 975 Market Street in Fort Mill.
And their website is fratellibaxter.com. That's FRATELLIBAXTER.com. And they've got some phenomenal food there. I've had probably everything off the menu, from salads to desserts. Everything is yummy.
That sounds good.
So thanks, Fratelli's, for sponsoring our podcast today.
And now to Jen.
Now to Jen.
Thank you so much for having me.
We are very excited. We have not had someone with your skills, your mad skills.
Organizing skills.
Organizing skills. We have not had anyone to come and educate us and, come and have a little chat with us.
Well, this is my first podcast, so I'm excited to be on.
Yay!
Thank you.
So tell us exactly, what does a professional organizer do?
So I'm not sure what other organizers do, but what I do is I inspire clients to live life a little easier. We can all get down and out by an overpacked schedule. Our house becomes full of other things, and it's just stuff at the end of the day where you come home and you look around and your home now feels like a house and a storage unit. So my idea is to go in and help clients live life a little easier, find things when they need them, so they're not running late, they're not losing things, and they can enjoy their time on the weekends or when they get off work, and they're not running around, always full of things to do with their kids and buying crayons that they know that they already bought, but they can't find them. So the idea is, if you're organized, life's a little easier. And I'm kind of an organizing coach. I do go in and help clients clear out clutter and organize what they want to keep. But the idea really is to let's streamline the house and the process and make life more fun.
Well, and that's important for your psyche too.
Yeah.
Like if you are constantly feel like you're living in chaos and you can't find things, it starts to affect you mentally.
It really does. A cluttered space is indeed a cluttered mind, and it starts to weigh on you. You become more stressed out. What is it they say? A happy wife is a happy life. And us women especially have a little bit of that superwoman complex. We want to do it all and we want to be amazing at everything. But the reality is it's very difficult, especially when you have children. There's just a lot of moving parts. And if you can eliminate some of it, it just makes life a lot easier. I mean, who wants to spend their weekend constantly running around shopping or cleaning up or cleaning out the garage or searching for something? When it's beautiful outside, you might want to take, a drive to the mountains in the fall or take your kids to the pool or the lake. We want to spend our time doing things we enjoy.
Well, definitely when you're organized, it makes cleaning easier.
Right.
Absolutely.
I think Emily's a clean freak.
I am. I can't, and my boyfriend can attest to this, I can't stand having even just a little bit of dog hair on the floor. Well, yesterday Keith was petting Katie and scratching her, and I saw all this hair, and I was like, you're going to have to vacuum now, right?
Right.
He was like, oh.
Did he?
No.
But yeah,
Not at
when
all.
things are put away, if there's stuff all over
Everything
the
has
area,
a place, and it needs to be in its place.
then it's not easy to vacuum the
Right.
dog hair up because
Right.
there's stuff all over the floor.
Exactly. And he's bad about that. He'll take off his socks when he gets home from work, and he'll just leave them wherever he is. I
Right.
picked up socks off the living room floor today,
Right.
and
I think
it drives me
that's
crazy.
That's a common complaint, I think, for
Socks.
women, men and their socks.
And men and keys and wallets, they like to come home and just drop.
Yeah.
And, it's important to make it easy for them to drop and try and make it relatively pretty.
So I just need to put laundry baskets everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
We could
Instead
do
of putting the laundry on the end of the sofa,
Right.
and people just grab from it all week,
Yes.
and then it migrates everywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my interior design business, I always told people, if the rest of your house looks like cockadoo, that's your business. But the front of your house, when you open up the door,
Yeah.
because I learned this from my mom, we had a sunken living room when I was a kid, which was a big thing back in the 70s, apparently, with plush shag white carpeting. Who gets white carpeting? My mom, okay?
And flush.
Well, yeah.
Plush.
And it was one of those carpets you had to rake.
Wow.
You ever see a carpet rake?
No.
It's insane. I thought it was some kind of evil plot to keep me busy and out of trouble because it was my job every day to come home from school and rake this plush white carpeting.
Wow.
But the whole idea, that was the very front room. It was the sunken living room when you first walk in, and the front of the house had to be pristine in case, back in the day, Jimmy Carter wanted to come over and visit our family home, as
Right.
if the president would just pop in. But that was the whole concept, and
Right.
it stuck with me. So when I, became an interior designer, and even as a home stager,
Well, it's very important as a home stager.
yeah, because you've got 8 seconds,
Yeah.
from the moment somebody walks in the door to formulate an opinion of this house, and within those 8 seconds, they're going to decide, I don't want to go any further,
Yeah.
or this is cool. I'm going to keep looking, So I always tell people, always keep the front of the house neat and tidy. And so if you have a husband that's got to drop things off or whatever, there had to be some kind of vessel,
Yeah.
a bowl or something right there that was attractive. They could just stick their stuff in.
Right.
Well, we've got a drawer that he dumps all of his stuff, but it's just his socks, piles of socks.
He's got a sock thing.
I don't get
He
it.
might be a sock hoarder.
That's actually a question I was
He's
going to
a
ask
hoarder.
you. Have you run into any hoarders?
I did run into a hoarder once, and this was actually before I started my business about 5 years ago. I was thinking about starting a business, and I had no idea what a hoarder was. And I was a little shocked. I didn't know that, I just didn't realize that people lived like that. And that's not to sort of put a condescending tone on it. It's a mental state. There's a lot going on emotionally with hoarders. And so since I've started the business, I haven't run into that necessarily. If I did, I would be more prepared to handle it and would plan to bring on, a team, whether it's a psychologist or, some other people to kind of help clean some stuff out when the hoarder decides that they're ready to get there. I think a lot of people joke that they feel like they're a hoarder. Most people aren't. We
Not
do
to that extreme.
No, I think, we all have a little pack rat in us. We like to hold on to things. We're not sure what we want to do with it. We're a consuming society. We're so overrun with information, with stuff. Technology changes so quickly. If your phone breaks, you buy a new one, but you won't throw the old one away. And I think that's where some of our heritage is still deep inside of us. Well, what if we need it another day? Or I can give it to someone who could really use it. And it starts to accumulate. So you hold on to a VCR and VHS tapes. VCRs don't work anymore, and no one watches the VHS tapes, so you can recycle them and get rid of them and feel fine about it. But, sometimes we're like, oh, we'll hold on to it just in case.
And clothes. Mm-hmm. Clothes are a big thing. People have a hard time letting go of too, right?
Well, clothes are sort of our outward expression of who we are, of who we feel. So a lot of times with women, they'll lose some weight or gain some weight, and so they hold on to different sizes. But I've also worked with clients who, will hold on to pieces that are a little trendy, and it reminds them of when they were maybe a little more trendy and not quite the soccer mom anymore. So it's a little bit of a personality, outward expression of our personality.
Right, which makes it even more difficult to just let it go.
Yeah.
Well, like me, I kept these pink jeans forever. Back in the day, they were my favorite jeans, back when it was big hair day, okay? And my mom even would tell me, oh, someday you're going to get back into those pink jeans. So it was like I couldn't get rid of them because it was a goal to lose weight and be able to fit in them again.
Right. But it kind of makes you feel a little guilty every day
angry
when you open the closet and you're like, I can't wear those pink jeans again this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was before, having 2 kids. Mm-hmm. Not happening.
Yes. And stuff is just stuff, but we don't look at it that way. We see things for what they used to be or the memory that's attached to it. I had one client who she was going through a big container of dolls, and she was just all down memory lane talking about how these were her favorite dolls. And I looked at her and I said, if you want these to be Halloween decorations, you're more than welcome to keep them, but they have melted in the heat and they need to be thrown away. And she looked up at me and she said, you are absolutely right. I didn't even realize that. And the eyes were all white. The glue had sort of turned hot and turned into something really scary. And they looked very scary. They should have been in the trash. But, she didn't see it as that. And that's kind of where I'll take a sisterly approach with clients. I'm never rude about it, but I'll say, hey, those pink jeans aren't really in style anymore. You're more than welcome to donate them to someone who's happy to sport it.
Right. Wow. Well, you definitely have to be somewhat of a therapist in your profession because you have to gingerly coax people to see the way, right? Right.
And there's some gingerly coaching on things that have value and things that don't. So you're passed down, a big china set, and you think that they're going to bring you $450,000 one day from some special antique dealer. And, what an item's worth is what the market's willing to pay. And so there's a little bit of a coaching involved with that, too. If you can get $30 for some collectible today, why not go ahead and get it and enjoy the $30 spending on a vacation with your family versus holding on to it in the attic for another 10 years, hoping that it might, turn into a fortune. Very rarely is someone's antique collection or collection of, whatever is going to pay for their retirement. And that's a little bit of a coaching too, but you have to step lightly.
Mm-hmm. And then there's those people, I used to run into them too, where the collection took over the whole house.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see that program with the lady with all the creepy dolls? Like, since she mentioned the dolls, there's a program about some woman, and she looks like she's kind of gothic or something, and she has like all these dolls, and they completely take over the whole house, and she calls them her babies. And do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know what it's called, but she calls them her babies, and she talks to them, and she's even got like a whole group of them that are like the dead baby collection.
Oh, weird.
It's sick.
That's a little strange.
I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, it's a little creepy. But it was like some kind of reality show or something, I think.
It sounds like a reality show.
Yeah.
I don't think I would be able
On
to talk her
TLC.
into letting you go.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some bizarre, and I think that that's probably rare.
Yeah.
But I do know from, 'cause a lot of times realtors, and you probably have the same thing where you get referrals from realtors because they need to list a property,
Right.
and they know that these people need some help,
Right. Right.
And so, for me, working in home staging, they would, tell me ahead of time, now they have a collection and they don't want to pack it away. Be prepared. Yeah. And so I would have to go, I'm like, okay, the realtor doesn't want to be the mean guy, so I'm going to have to.
Yes.
But so I had to tell them, your house is not going to sell until you pack it up and put it away. And so I had to, talk to them about, let's go ahead and mentally put yourself in that new house.
Right.
And let's go ahead and pack this stuff up as if you're going to go and unpack them at this new house.
That's a great idea.
But it's challenging sometimes. I'm sure you have experienced similar things.
Yes, it is. It can be because we just become used to what our house is and what our surroundings are. So when you bring in someone else and they say, "Oh, I didn't even realize that my antique furniture doesn't look all that great with my new modern furniture," or "Oh, I didn't realize that my doll collection was a little scary to potential buyers."
Just a little.
And you're like, "Oh, well, they might hinder someone from making a very nice offer on your home." And, "Oh, well, in that case, maybe I am interested in letting this go." And I think, too, the larger our homes get, the more that we tend to hold on to things because you can justify it. You have the space for it.
Yeah.
I just recently worked on a closet. It was 15 feet wide. It was a bonus room closet. It was massive.
Wow. I want that closet.
Seriously.
Yes, it was awesome. And it was just full of stuff that they didn't want. I mean, we pretty much got rid of 85% of the stuff in the closet, but it's not because I had to twist her arm. She just didn't want it anymore, but she didn't want to actually have to pull everything out because it was stuffed full.
Right.
And, the before and after picture was awesome. She was so excited for me to pull out the camera even to take an after picture. She said, "This looks amazing." And we installed a bunch of shelving, but it didn't even have that much stuff on it. But she didn't care. She was happy that there was room to store things that she really wanted to keep versus the stuff that she was just shoving in the closet.
Right.
So, 4 years of justifying holding on to every gift bag that you ever received for your kid's birthday, now she's like, "I don't want those anymore."
Right.
Now that I see them and I have 400, I don't want them anymore.
Right. I tend to keep bags too because I always think, those things cost money, those little gift bags, and I try to reuse them. So in my mind, I justify it because I'm like, I'm recycling.
We'd like to take a moment one more time to thank our sponsor, Fratelli Restaurant and Pizzeria. They are located at 975 Market Street in Fort Mill. Their phone number is 803-802-4449, and their website is fratellibaxter.com. Now back to the show. When it comes to, I don't keep guest bags. I normally just give them to my mom. But when I go to Hollister or American Eagle or somewhere they actually have good sturdy bags, I tend to keep them for like a month, and then I realize I'm never going to use this.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
And then it just gets trashed. I don't have a problem with throwing stuff away.
That's good.
Keith does.
Maybe I
My
should
brother
hire
does.
Emily.
I'm telling you, Emily's a clean freak.
I have
Like, you can tell when you look at our workspace here who's tidy and who's not. Her side of the desk is almost always tidy.
That's all.
And mine will have, like, stuff all over it.
everything has a place.
Everything has a place. And we really, strive to stay organized here. But it's more of a challenge for me, I think, than it is for her.
Well, as business owners, it's hard, I think, to stay organized because there's so many projects that you're working on. And it's not as if there's a team of people here. So everything sort of falls on one or two people. And, being organized enough, I think, is a good point to be for a business owner. But now, when I used to work in an office, it was a lot different. When I worked in corporate, it was very organized. My desk was never messy, but at the same time, I wasn't also working for myself and working on 15 different projects all at once.
Right.
And writing articles and blogging and everything else. Now, I'm happy that it's a little messy with papers, but if a project comes through, it's so rewarding.
Right.
Organized enough. I give you permission.
Right. Well, tell us a little bit about how you came to be an organizer.
I get asked this a lot. Were your parents organized? How did you get into this organizing thing?
Did you have a really bad organizational experience?
Yes. So how I got into organizing, I grew up in a small town in a small house. I grew up in Dallas, North Carolina, and I give my mom credit for making me put things back where they should go. So shoes never were allowed to go by the door. They went in the closet where the shoes go. Book bags were not allowed to hang on the kitchen counter or, sit in a kitchen chair. They went in the bedroom where the book bags go. So that I learned from a very, early age. Have a home for everything and put it there. My dad is a little different story. About 10 years ago, he built a garage just bigger than the house to hold all of his stuff, if you will. It's, never a good sign. And then about a year ago, he comes to me and he says, I'm going to need your help. I want to build a shed because I'm starting to run out of space
What?
in the garage.
Oh.
Your red flags went up immediately. So that I do not get from my dad. My dad is definitely a little bit more of a pack rat than my mom or I. I actually used to color coordinate my crayons when I was little. Maybe I'm a little OCD on some things, but
Right.
so I always thought that people were just organized. I never realized that it was a skill set. I had a pretty typical resume when I started the business. It included graduating from college, getting a job in corporate America, being laid off, and floundering trying to find my purpose in life. And I decided to get my graduate degree, and I signed up for some professional coaching. And the coach actually encouraged me to do some research into the industry to find out that people were actually doing this and, successfully running a business. So as they say, the rest is history. I give her a lot of credit for kind of pushing me down the path of starting a business. And quickly I realized it is a skill set that not everyone has. I guess I just grew up with it or God gave it to me. So happy
Right.
to help other people.
Right. It's definitely a gift, and I think a lot of people, they may not realize, quickly how important organization is, but I think when they don't have it, they're miserable,
Yes.
and then when they do experience it, then it's kind of like,
I remember what this is like. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem like keeping people organized? Because you can organize people all day long, but whether or not they stay that way.
Right.
Absolutely. But I don't have a problem with it. I think that at the end of a project, it's, about 100% organized, and clients keep it about 80%, which is fine for them. It's way better than what it was before. But like I said at the beginning, I'm sort of an organizing coach. I mean, I can come in and tell you how a space should be organized, but that's not the point. It needs to be organized for you and your family. So however you naturally function in your home or your kitchen or your garage or whatever it is, the space that we're working on. So the organizing is always the third or fourth step, as in it's almost last. Sort of cleaning out the stuff, figuring out why it got that way, why we want to keep it organized is sort of the first 3 steps, and then we'll organize the stuff that they want to keep last, and we'll organize it to the way that they want. So I go and talk to a lot of different groups around the region about ways to organize shoes or purses or photos, if you will. But there's tons of ideas out there. You kind of take what you like, keep the rest, throw the rest away. Take what is it that they say? Take the ones you like, pass on the others. And there's so many ways to be creatively organized, but it's all about being organized for yourself. So it may not look the best, but if it works for you, then it works. Right. If there's a bowl by the door and your husband can dump all of his keys and wallets, you might not love that there's a bowl by the door with keys and wallets in it, but it works really well, and it keeps him from always being all over the house and keeps him from not being late.
Right. And that's important because, the whole point of organization is, like you said, to make your life easier.
Absolutely.
And so that you can get through the cleaning and all that stuff and get to living.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So it takes some effort when you're doing the organizing, the purging and all that stuff takes the time and effort. Like, what is the allotted amount of time? Is it like a weekend? Like you take a weekend and organize the whole house? Or is it you work from room to room? How do you do that?
Well, ideally it would be, work on the room or the garage or the attic. The space is bothering you the most. Mm-hmm. So if it's your closet, then I would recommend working on that first. But the problem is if the whole house is unorganized and you work on one room, you're probably going to end up shifting some stuff around to the other rooms, so they might become a little bit more unorganized. Mm-hmm. But as far as a time allotment goes, I always tell clients, your house did not become full of stuff overnight, so it won't be fixed overnight. It takes a while, and most projects that I work on are an average of 12 hours, so it's about 3 days, 4 hours each day, because there's a lot of decisions to be made, and there's a lot of decisions to be made that have been put off, especially if you're going into storage areas like a garage or a bonus room. Things are put in boxes for a reason because you don't want to go through them and make the decisions, and I'm there encouraging the clients to go through the box and say, do you want to keep all this stuff? Or do you not want to keep it all? Do you want to sell it? Do you want to donate it? If you want to keep it, do you want to display it? Children, a lot of parents keep the outfit that their child came home from the hospital in. Well, if it sits in a box in an attic, it's probably going to collect mold and you're going to have to throw it away. So I'll encourage them to frame it and put it on the wall or display it. Or if there's pictures, put them in an album or put them in a binder even. You don't even have to make it this massive scrapbook. The idea is not to make more work for them with all the projects that they know that they want to work on, but they don't have the time to do. It's display the stuff that you want to keep it organized so you can find it when you need it, and I give them permission to let some of the other stuff go. For instance, if your great-grandmother passed away and had a salt and pepper collection that, could fill a room, and she passed it down to you, you don't necessarily have to keep it if you never really liked her salt and pepper collection.
Right. Right.
It's not going to bring her
guilty,
back.
Don't
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And people do that a lot with presents. If they receive a present from someone, they don't really like the shirt or the handbag, they never wear it, but they feel guilty letting it go. It's okay.
Right. Just don't regift it.
Yeah.
Not back to the person that gave it to you anyway.
No.
That would not be good.
No. Give it to Goodwill.
Yeah.
Yes.
Regift it to them.
Don't regift it.
Yeah.
That would be really funny and probably a little uncomfortable. I might not get hired back if that happens. I give them permission to let it go,
right.
And then it embarrasses them. That's not ideal.
Well, I think people are probably, if they've never used a professional organizer, they might be a little intimidated about the process. So what kind of things can we share with them that would help them understand, like maybe the cost involved? Is it an expensive service to have you come and organize for them?
It's relative. The cost is relative. It's an investment in the short term, and I don't get asked back to reorganize the space that we already organized. So it's not something that you have to continue to call an organizer for months and months down the road. We can continue to work on other projects within the home, but the idea is to invest in the space and get it organized to where it's organized for you and it functions for you. The idea is really when clients call me when they're overwhelmed and they need some backup. Mm-hmm. The husband doesn't want to help, but he also wants the space organized. You know, you've had your mom or your sister or your cousin over to help you, and it didn't turn out all that well. They're a little too personal for you, and they're saying, I can't believe you keep all these things. Mm-hmm. And that's not really the point. They call me because they're overwhelmed, they want it fixed, and they don't know how to start, and they don't really want to start by themselves because it's not that fun. Organizing is a drag, and I always say that. It's a lot of work, and you're going through some dusty boxes, but I always make it fun. You know, we'll get it done and we'll make it fun, sort of my tagline. But the process really is I'll start with a consultation so I can meet the space, if you will. I'll poke around the house. You know, I'll ask some questions. You know, oh, we've got a lot of dishes in this one cabinet. You know, were those passed down to you? Do you like dishes? Just trying to figure out, you know, who you are as a person and how you feel about your things. So the consultation is sort of I get to meet you, they get to meet me, and then I also get to meet the space. And then from there we'll determine, you know, the amount of time that it might take to work together. And that's it's dependent upon the homeowner. Some clients work very quickly and they know that they want to get rid of a lot of stuff. So the process goes really quickly, and other clients are a little slower, and it's okay. You don't have to be, you know, the Tasmanian devil going through the garage cleaning stuff out. You take your time, and that's fine. And I like to give homework to clients in between appointments so they can work on some things when I'm not there. Mm-hmm. For instance, pictures. It's relatively silly to pay me to come in and help you organize your pictures when I don't know who the people are and I don't know where the pictures were taken. So if you clean out some of the pictures on your own, then I can help you organize them in a binder and album afterwards. But I have 3 packages that clients can choose from. That includes our time together, travel. Includes things like taking donations for you or taking the trash. Because if you go through all the motions of getting organized but the stuff still sits in your house, you really didn't get that much done. So, you know, some packages include me taking the trash and the donations, and then I'll bring the donation receipt back with me. So it's just really backup, having a support system and someone to give you a little sisterly love to say, you know what, I might not need to keep all this stuff.
Right. So, is it based on like an hourly fee? Like, if you do a consultation, does the consultation last for an hour?
It does last about an hour. Most of the time, I'm there for about an hour and a half because we have fun, sort of getting to know one another. Mm-hmm. But minimum of an hour, maximum of an hour and a half. I know people are busy, so I want to be conscious of that.
Right, but the consultation fee is a flat fee?
It is a flat fee. It's $90, mm-hmm. and like I said, it includes my time, the travel, and I also create an organizing project board mm-hmm. afterwards with some ideas on what I think the space could look like based on the conversation that I had with the homeowner, and the project boards for them to keep if they decide not to hire me and they want to try it on their own, they're happy to keep it.
Right.
But if they decide to hire me for a package, then I apply the $90 to the package.
Oh, that's good. Okay. And so based on that initial consultation, then you determine this is how much time I think it's going to take.
Yes.
And then work out the mm-hmm. pricing.
Yes.
And then, of course, it can be tweaked mm-hmm. and altered.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And then, so like when you are clearing things out, and, you know, I've seen this done before where you have, like, piles, right?
Yes.
The keep pile, the
yes.
donate pile, or the trash pile.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have to utilize outside services to come, like a haul it away company, like they come, or do you handle, like, all of that?
I have never hired an outside company yet. It's a little bit of a running joke with me and my clients on the size of the car that I drive, which is a Volkswagen Beetle. We're thinking about turning it into sort of a YouTube sensation, if you will.
Right.
Everything that's on the yard and how it turns into Jennifer's car. But I have thus far been able to take, you know, everything with me, whether it's in 1 or 2 trips, but I don't generally work one day with clients. So I can take as much as I can and, come back for the rest of it. It hasn't been a problem yet. Furniture, if someone wanted to get rid of furniture, I would have to figure that out. But I haven't gotten to that point, and I have successfully fit a full-size hammock in my car.
Wow.
Last October, I was cleaning out a garage, and the guy said, "You know what? We don't really want the hammock anymore." I said, "All right, I'm going to take it with me." He said, "How are you going to fit it in your car?" I said, "It is magic. I will make it happen."
Right.
Down the road I went.
So do you also encourage people to do like garage sales, yard sales, that sort of thing?
I do. There is a little education process on what things are worth, and if it's broken or dirty, it probably should be thrown away. And I don't encourage you to throw a lot of things away. Donating to Goodwill or Battered Women's Shelter. There's some charities that'll take gently used children's books. That's always helpful for the things that you probably won't get a lot of money for. The problem with garage sales is they're a lot of work. You already are busy. You don't have a lot of time. And you don't get a large return on your investment there. So unless you're selling very large ticket items like furniture or televisions or electronics, you might make $300 or $400. I think for peace of mind, most of the time it's just easier to donate it and take the tax write-off and feel good about the fact that you're helping someone else. Children's books are one that I'm a big fan of donating them to other children who are underprivileged and don't have the joy of reading a book every night with their mom. So donate them versus trying to get 25 cents for them at a garage sale. But on some things that I know are valuable, I will kind of educate on what the value is based on the market price. And I offer consignment services for my clients. So if they're interested, I can sell certain things on consignment for them.
Oh, that's interesting. So does that mean that you sell them on eBay?
It is an online consignment business. So I sell on eBay and Craigslist. And, there's no really secret to eBay for me. It just seems to work. I think because it's priced right and it's priced to sell. It's not priced to make $1 million.
Right.
But, I've made some clients a profit of $1,000 on some old clothes that were sitting around in their closet. Now they had a lot of clothes and they had some, nice brands, but some things can bring in money and it'll surprise you. I sell all the way from used car parts to, antique, full vintage antiques.
Wow. So does that mean that the stuff moves from their house to your house?
It does move from theirs to mine, which is sort of interesting. I'm on a waiting list right now for the consignment because I've run out of space. And the process for the consignment is I'll take it, I'll inventory everything, I'll do the research, and then I'll take the pictures and list them online. I actively list for 3 weeks. If it doesn't sell within 3 weeks, then I'll donate it to, Goodwill or another charity that might be better fit for it. And then send the donation receipt along with a consignment report and a check to the homeowner, which is really nice. I take the stuff for them, and then in 4 weeks they just get a check in the mail.
Wow.
Do you take a cut of what you sell?
I do. That process is a little separate, so it's not included in any of the organizing packages, and my commission is 40%.
Awesome.
Where you're doing all the work, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that's really a good service because otherwise they wouldn't make anything.
Right.
Otherwise, it would still be sitting in their house collecting
Right.
dust.
Yes.
Right?
And still stressing them out.
Yes. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's sort of a natural relationship between the consignment and the organizing. I've been selling personally on eBay since 2007, and it kind of became a small hobby of mine, but I ran out of my own things to sell, so now I'm finding other people's stuff to sell.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, I'm trying to think how I found out about you. I know that you are a big blogger and you have an awesome Facebook presence. Do you Twitter as well?
I tweet.
That's right.
I have
you do
Facebook. But I actually found you guys.
Oh, you did?
I picked up a Fort Mill magazine when I was out one day in Charlotte, scurrying around with my boyfriend. I can't even remember what we were doing that day. And I picked up a couple magazines, and I got home and read it, and I thought, this magazine looks great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll reach out to Tracy and see if they're looking for any contributors, or, maybe in January when organizing is a big hot topic, maybe they would like to bring on some help. And so the rest is history. Here we are.
Here we are. And we're going to include some of your blog entries on our blog.
Very excited about that.
And we're very excited to have you as a contributor. So we'll see some of your fine writing skills in the winter issue. And like I said, on our blog. So we're excited about that. But if somebody wants to consult with you, how is the best way for them to contact you?
So the fastest and easiest really is a phone call. The telephone number is 704-879-1526. But some people are busy and picking up the phone is difficult. So the Facebook page is www.facebook.com/PNS organizing. And the website is pureandsimpleorganizing.com.
And that's a wonderful site. And also, I wanted to mention that you were featured recently in several commercials for Post-it.
I was.
Which, people are very familiar with Post-it notes.
Yes.
Everybody uses Post-it notes. But Post-it actually has a variety of products. Mm-hmm. But you were featured, and that's pretty exciting because you were pretty much hand-selected to be like a product spokeswoman. And I think they turned out really nice. I was quite impressed.
Thank you so much. It is their Necessarize campaign, which is showcasing some of the other products that they sell other than the Post-it notes to help keep you organized. And I was selected as their professional organizer expert for that campaign. I flew out to Los Angeles in May and filmed some commercials with them and got to sort of see the product firsthand. I have a ton at my office, so if you want any, drop me a line. I'm happy to send you some.
They gave you freebies?
They did.
Awesome.
They did for a review, and I love them. My favorite were these wall pockets. They have the 3M adhesive on it, and you can put them on any surface. For me, it's a great way to keep receipts. For business, I have to keep a lot of receipts, and it's just a really nice way to hold on to them until I have time to input them into the computer, double-check them against statements, and then file them away appropriately. But they have large pockets to small pockets, and they even have some with a little flap that you can put inside, like a notebook or a binder. The idea is to make it easier to hold on to all the stuff that we have to keep. All the paper. God knows we all have a ton of paper.
Too much paper, that's for sure.
Paper monster.
Well, you did a great job.
Thank you.
We're quite proud. A local who has made it on the national scene.
Thank you.
And you're a female business owner, small business owner, and we're all about promoting that. So good job.
Thank you so much.
Well, again, tell everyone the web address where they can contact you, and we will say goodbye.
All right. The website is pureandsimpleorganizing.com.
And that's Jennifer Burnham. Thank you so much for talking and telling us all about your professional organizing business.
Thank you so much.
And once again, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Fratelli Restaurant and Pizzeria, located at 975 Market Street in Fort Mill. Their phone number is 803-802-4449, and their website is Fratelli, Fratelli, Baxter.com. That's the end of our show.
That's it. I think that was a great show. Thanks again to Fratelli's for sponsoring and for Jennifer Burnham for educating us today on home organization.
Yeah, and what a home organizer actually does.
Yeah. Quite interesting. So join us again next week. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Yep.
And our FortMillMagazine.com for the latest and greatest.
And we'll see everybody next week.
Ciao.